Okay, we are on, let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, lesson, a little bit bigger. Lesson 2.2, greatest common factor. Okay, and it's okay that we're doing some of these things more than one day in a row because sometimes we just need to practice it. And good math wizards practice their math so that they can be wizards. So we are doing lesson 2.2, greatest common factor. Greatest common factor. Okay, and we knew from the other day, I'm just going to move this back to our thing. We knew from the other day that factors are numbers that can be multiplied together to get the same product. So we are going to be finding factors today. All right, we did some of this a little bit yesterday, but we are going to review. Okay, so what we are going to do is find the greatest let's actually do this. Backing it up a step. First, we're going to find the factors. I should have wrote that differently. That's okay. Find the factors of, I'm going to pick two numbers here. 12 and 30. Okay. It says find the factors of 12 and 30. So whenever you are looking at greatest common factor, we said common, this word common, I'm going to put it in orange. Common means the same. I guess we had it in green before, so let's keep the colors going. Common and green, right? What we did was we read out all the math facts of 12 and all of those combinations to get 30 and found which ones are common. So let's do that first. Okay, so I'm going to write out my numbers here. And what I like to do is I make my list. So here is 12 over here. Okay, and then I'm going to put my other number 30 over here. So go ahead and do the same. Using my multiplication chart, I now need to figure out all of the factors, all of those little combinations of multiplication facts that get me to 12 and get me to 30. So first things first, let's start with the easiest one. 1 times what will give me 12? Go ahead and help me in the chat. 1 times what will give me 12? 1 times what will give me 12? Good. If you said 1 times 12 equals 12, you are right. Okay? So I can do 1 times 12. Can 2 times something give me 12? Can 2 times something give me 12? I see some thumbs up. Good. I see some answers here. Figure out 2 times what will give me 12. 2 is a factor. 2 times 6 is 12. Very nice. What about 3? Can 3 times something give me 12? Can 3 times something give me 12? Good, I have some answers flowing in. It says yes. Good. If you wrote down 3 times 4 gives me 12, you are correct. Now, if I were to go down my list of numbers, I have 1, 2, 3. If I were to do 4 again, I would be rewriting this math fact here, the 3 times 4. So I don't have to write that. I am done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in green, I'm going to circle all of my factors. And then let's write them out. Oops, sorry. Did not mean to do that. Okay, so I can say, need to zoom in a little bit more. Factors of 12. And this is going to be in numerical order. So everything in that green box is going to go in number order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay, writing them in number order, and I'm separating them with a comma. Okay, it always starts with 1, and it always ends with the number that you are looking for the factors for. So this one starts with 1, and it ends with 12. Okay, and then I will wait a second. Make sure we're all muted here. Okay. And I will give you a minute. Courtney, are you okay? I see a hand up. If your blue hand is up, you can unmute yourself. Do you have a question or can it wait? Okay. All right. Now what I need to do is find all of the factors of 30. So I'm going to start here. All the numbers that I can multiply to get 30. So I'm going to say, I'm always going to start with 1. So 1 times what gives me 30? 1 times what gives me 30? Go ahead and put it in the chat. 1 times what will give me 30? I have an answer coming in. Good. If you said 1 times 30 gives you 30, you are correct. Now this one's going to be tricky because you're just going to have to know your math facts. Or think multiplication is like repeated addition. 2 can go into 30. What 2 numbers can add together that are the same that give me 30? Or maybe you know. 2 times what will give me 30? What 2 numbers can be the same and add up to 30? This one's tricky. You got to use your brain. I got 2 math wizards coming in with an answer. There's 3, 4. Good. 2 times 15 would give me 30. 15 plus 15 is 30. What about 3 now? 3 times what's going to give me 30? Take my finger, put it on the 3, run across. 3 times what will give me 30? 3 times what will give me 30? Good. I see some answers in the chat already. Good. 3 times 10 gives me 30. Nice job. I have a lot of participation that makes my heart happy. Awesome. Okay. Can 4 be multiplied by something to get 30? 4 times something gives me 30. I see some shaking heads. I see a couple no's. You are right. 4 times something does not give me 30. Okay, what about 5? Does 5 times something give me 30? Take your finger, run it across the 5 on that multiplication chart. Does 5 times something give me 30? Yes, it does. 5 times 6 gives me 30. Now, if I were to write down the next number, so I wrote 1, 2, 3, then I went to 5. If I wrote 6, I would be rewriting this math problem here, the 5 times 6. So I don't have to write it. I know that I am done. Okay. Whenever these two numbers are right next to each other or very, very close, you are done. Okay. So let me circle those in green. If you circle with your pencil, that's fine. And then I need to list the factors, just like we have normally been doing. So factors of 30. Oops. I'm going to go down my list in number order. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Oh, there's a lot. 10, 15, and 30. There are a lot. All right. So that was step number 1. Okay, step number 1 was to find the factors. That took us a little bit of time. Now, I will teach you some tricks, but for right now, just go ahead and use the multiplication chart. Maybe tomorrow I will teach you some tricks to figuring out if these numbers go into it or not. If you already know them, wonderful. Okay. Second step. So I guess over here we could put step 1, step 2. Okay. Because today it's going to ask you to find the common factor. Well, it's going to tell you to find the factors. Then it's going to tell you to find the common factor, and that is step number 2. So our next step is to I want to give myself enough room. Find the common factor. And I'm going to put common factors, and in parentheses underneath, I'm going to put the factors that are the same. Okay. The factors that are the same. So I'm going to take these ones and these ones, both of my list, and I'm going to find the common factors. Let me get out some orange here because I think we did that yesterday. Okay, so the ones that are common, or common is another word for the same. Okay, so in the chat, I want you take your time because there's going to be a couple here. Can you tell me which ones are the same? So if we looked at this list of 12 here, with the factors of 12 right here, and if I looked at the factors of 30, can you tell me which ones are the same? And can you put them in a list for me with a comma between? And then after this, I'm going to circle them in orange. Nice job to my math wizards that are telling me which ones are common or the same. Nice job. If I were to look at these, which ones are the same? I'm going to rewrite this for a second while you guys are still typing that in. So I'm going to write it like this. Here is 12. And 12 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And then 30 had 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. Okay, which ones were the same? Let me look in the chat here. Wow, look at all these answers. Which ones were the same? Well, there's a 1 here and a 1 here. Let's see what else I have. 2 is the same in 12 and 30. Oh, wow. It also has 3. Does this list and this list have a 4? Nope. But it does have a 6. Just going down the list here. And then there's a 12 here, but no 12 and 30. So I know that the common, wow, that's a terrible C. The common factors are, and I can just make a list the same way. 1, 2, 3, and 6. 1, 2, 3, and 6. I'm going to underline this in orange. Common. Things that are the same. Okay? This is a very long process. And that's okay. We have to practice it so that it gets quicker. Okay, so just a reminder as I move my paper. Okay, the first things first is when we need to find the greatest common factor. Step number 1 was finding the factors. Writing those lists, figure out what numbers can multiply to get that factor. Okay, then step number 2 was writing out the list, and you can see I wrote them again and circled the ones that were the same. Okay, that was step number 2. We have one last step, and it is the easiest one. So let me put a giant 3 over here. Step 3. Okay. You are going to figure out of the, or here, let me do this instead. Oops. We can still see, okay. Which common factor is the greatest? Common factor. Greatest common factor, G, C, F. I'm going to do this in colors. Okay, we did it in green, I believe, yesterday. So G, C, F. Greatest common factor. And we know greatest is also another word for biggest or largest. Okay? So we said that the common factors, I'm going to write that down real quick. Common factors were 1, 2, 3, and 6. Which one is the greatest common factor, biggest, largest common factor from below? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 6? Which one is the greatest? You got it. Out of these 4 numbers, 6 is the greatest. So we can say that the GCF, the greatest common factor, is 6, or it is equal to 6. Okay, maybe instead of equals, I'll put the word is. I'm writing GCF just because it's a shortened word form of it. Okay, so first things first, you have to find the factors. All of those numbers we can multiply to get the number itself. Then I'm going to find what's common. And then step number 3, out of the common ones, which one is the largest? Which one is the largest? Okay.